Hello, my name is Gianna DeVitro, and I chose to do my research topic for the class on augmented reality. To begin my presentation, I'm going to explain what exactly augmented reality is and why it is important. Augmented reality has dated back since 1965 and was discovered by a man named Ivan Sutherland, who built the first head-mounted display. The purpose of AR is to allow a technology to run interactively in 3 dimensions in real time. This is done so by using 2 different types of common machinery, such as optical see-through displays and projection displays. AR has the base of virtual reality, but it involves the real world and has much more potential. It is important to become familiar with AR because it is being researched by companies such as Google, different car manufacturers, medical technology, and also in the television broadcasting department. It is said that AR has the potential to change our lives, such as cell phone and internet use have. This leads me to my research question. My research question is, does the production of augmented reality truly help the viewers comprehend the television broadcaster's message, or is it an unnecessary investment? Beginning my research, I first looked at how augmented reality actually differs from virtual reality. Virtual reality, also known as VR shortened, was developed first and paved the way for augmented reality. VR is conducted through a headset that you wear that puts you in a virtual world that programmers or people like ourselves have created. Because virtual reality is done through a headset, it gets the viewer's full attention and limits interaction with the real world. The immersion that is able to be attained through VR is great, but its lack of real-world interaction has led to the development of augmented reality. A goal of augmented reality is to not take the person out of the real world, but actually add value to its present views. This is done by adding contextual layers of information to our experiences in real time. As repeated before, this is done by using optical see-through displays such as glasses or projection displays. Since my research deals with broadcasting, we will be discussing specifically projection displays. The first thing to think about when trying to implement AR is the cost. So we know that there is different machinery such as projection displays, tracking, lighting and sound, and experts that are going to be needed to develop this concept. This all may seem like a lot, but research has been conducted, such as the chart seen on the slide by DigiCapital, that augmented reality is projected to meet a $120 billion market by 2020. Within this revenue are categories such as AR hardware, e-commerce, AR data, AR voice, AR film and television, enterprise AR, AR ad spend, AR consumer, AR games, and AR theme parks. 2 of the main points that I chose to focus on during my research is actual television broadcasts who have implemented AR live, and also study visual learners, since that is the sensory that is being used when in the presence of AR. I chose to dissect 4 different types of broadcasts within television, such as computer graphics used in sports such as football, Weather Channel's achievement of using AR in a 3D sense, Jessica Yellen's CNN broadcast, and Riot's disaster coverage of the Nepal earthquake. Due to the time limit, I am only going to go further into one of these broadcasts, and I have chose to do so with the CNN coverage with Jessica Yellen. Jessica Yellen was reporting for CNN during the election season, specifically on the day that the results were going to be revealed as to who was president. Yellen was stationed in Chicago within Grant Park back in 2008 when this happened. Within the Chicago Park, thousands of Obama supporters have gathered since he was in that location during the time that he was waiting for his poll results. The anchor who was interviewing Yelling stated, "What I like about this is instead of having thousands of people behind you screaming and shouting, we can have a little bit more of an intimate conversation and our viewers can enjoy that as well." This was the first time in television on a live broadcast that something like this has ever been done. Later that same night, where Jessica Yellen made her premiere through AR, will.i.am, who is a celebrity and Obama supporter, also made an appearance in the New York studio, but was really in Chicago. Anderson Cooper, who conducted the interview, right away stated that it was better doing the interview this way because it was a lot quieter than being in a large crowd. The real question behind all of this is how CNN actually made this work. So I analyzed the setup of how they were able to do this. So the interviewee was stationed inside of a tent that was set up in Chicago. It took engineers about 3 weeks to set up this tent, but the whole concept took 3 months to develop. 35 high-definition cameras were stationed around the tent, and in the center would be where the interviewee, such as Yellen or will.i.am, would stand. These cameras were then able to measure and collect data in different points and then transmit that to the New York studio. The process of doing that is called telemetry. The sensors that were placed in the tent allowed the camera in New York and Chicago to read movement at the same time. CNN senior vice president even traveled to Israel to get some information on this technology. The senior vice president, known as David Borman, said, "The heart of our coverage was calling the races, projecting the presidency, and covering those amazing moments last night. But television evolves, and how we do things evolves. At some point, maybe it's 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years down the road, I think there is going to be a way that television does interviews like this because it allows for a much more intimate possibility for a remote interview. It is great to have this technology ready for use, but the real question is, how do people interpret this, and is it really worth the trouble?" I chose to focus on the student age groups anywhere from kindergarten to college years because studies have shown that that age group is least likely to watch the news. Students are taught starting from a young age through textbook, but some educators fail to realize that students are multimodal and most of their interaction in life is auditory or visual. Students can learn from textbooks, but all current events that are being shown on television, such as politics, wars, and trials, cannot be completely taught through text. Reading numbers in America have declined, and media has a direct link to that, according to one of the articles that I was able to obtain. Since we have touched on the different types of programs on television that have used AR and the visual learning aspect through students, it is now time to touch on ethics. Some of the main concerns that I have covered as far as ethics are, can studios be trusted to convey the proper messages when creating and recreating events, the possibility of empathy overruling ethics, and the target audience not being able to distinguish the difference between augmented reality and actual reality. All of the topics that I covered today in this presentation are vital to the implementation of AR in broadcasting, and this information will be more in-depth when presented in my research paper.